Okay, good day, grade sevens. I hope you're well, and thank you very much for completing that online quiz. Um, I'll I'll be making the results. Well, I'll be publishing the results today, and from what I saw originally, it looks like some people have done really well on that. So well done. Okay. So what we're going to look at today is just to look at a bit about the farming methods, give a bit of an overview about farming tools and equipment, and then look into poultry farming. Okay. So yeah, as I was just going to continue with farming, we'll just review farming just to make sure you got some of the main definitions down, okay? Because some of the notes you've sent me have been really good. But what I would do today is just put a unit, put like a heading for farming methods. Use write down the objectives that I've got in the instructions I've sent you, okay? And then we'll just start from here just to add in some definitions. So we've done this we did this a couple of weeks ago, really, just before Easter. So yeah, farming, the practice of agriculture, producing crops, fruit, and raising animals. Three types, really. Arable, so growing of crops and fruits. Pastoral, so raising animals, which is for their products, so we can sell things like eggs, milk, meat, or wool. Mixed farming, so this is where you do both arable and pastoral, okay? So excellent. So just make sure you've written down those definitions, made them into your notes, okay? So you can pause the video and do that. So then we've got these different types of farmers. Now, maybe if you remember from the Arawaks, okay, and we did about like shifting cultivation, and there where you don't, and then we've got different types of people. So maybe nomadic farming, this was more traditional. So you didn't have a permanent residence, you kept moving, okay, so give the land a bit of time to recover. Well, then we've got sedentary, where it's generally that's what's used more nowadays, is where you farms in the same land each year. And now this has extra challenges to be able to, so the land still actually is able to produce, and so you have enough yield, the amount that of produce you can produce, keep that high enough each year, okay? So that's where we're going to have, and we're going to look later on today about how, even if you're a sedentary farmer, how you can still produce enough food. So make a note of those definitions there, okay? So we've done this before, again, so it's a bit of a review. The idea of subsistence farming, those are just meeting the needs of yourself and your family. And while commercial, it's going beyond that, it's actually producing usually on a larger scale with modern technology, so that you can then sell your produce and your animals to make profit, okay? So I've got the heading here, yeah, week 5, farming methods, tools and equipment, put down those objectives, okay? So you've got those definitions just as a bit of a revision. Then we're going to go on to this here. We've got some different methods, okay? So to be able to have your crops on the land, okay? So we've got pothole farming, okay? A circular depression, so just a hole in the ground, okay? They can create a lot of humus. Now this word's a key word. I'd maybe write this down, make an extra definition, which is the decayed remains of plants, okay? But it's so important, this humus, because it provides provides nutrients, and it's kind of a natural fertilizer, okay? So it helps increase yield to be able to make more, okay? Then we've got pit farming. Thin soil is kind of is pushed into a heap, and then the underlying rock is ripped and dug out down to the water table. The water table is that layer of water below the soil, okay? So we've got that, and it creates that depth with organic matter, okay? So you can make a note of that about pit farming. And then muck soil is found in wide hollow areas. Farmers add sand rocks and leaves to level it off for planting onions and watermelon. So that's for those produce you would use muck soil there, okay? So make a note of those 3 types of methods there, okay? Now I'll come back to the fertilizer, because we're going to look about man-made ways. But first, this is just a revision here. So this is just to get you going. So we've got these list of words here. And if you could make a note of these, and put the words in the correct gap, and we'll check those answers before the end of this video, okay? So, when I talked about those fertilizers, so we've got the humus there, it's a natural fertilizer, and it increases. Many industries now have either used these old and new tools, or they've become totally modernized. Modernization is using new and more efficient techniques to increase production, or increase yields is another word, okay? Farmers use many tools, equipment, and technology. Let's look at some of those. Let's make a note of them. Fertilizing. Now, if it's an artificial fertilizer, so this allows the correct amount of nutrients for each crop to be applied in the right time. Now, there are difficulties. If you keep using artificial fertilizer, it doesn't have that humus that we spoke of previously. And over time, this can make the soil lose its nutrients, and so that you could have a problem in a few years' time, okay? So we've got different type of fertilizers, okay? Irrigation is just that getting water to the right place, okay? So maybe if there's not enough rainfall, you could have sprinklers, or maybe you've got rainfall, you've got water in one place, but your farm is in another. So, for example, if the river is far away, you might be able to then create an irrigation system that funnels that water to your farm, okay? There's many cases of irrigation, like near the River Nile in Egypt, and we go from there. Pest and disease control. Now, it used to be many years ago that lots of crops were lost due to diseases or pests, and this is still going on now as well. So the price of food has gone up because of many locusts this year. Okay, so what can we do to control this is that you put on these pests, so you put on these sorts of pesticides to reduce that. And then mechanization. Things take a lot longer, and you can produce much less when you do it manually, as is shown in those two pictures there. However, it can be on a much larger scale and with fewer people, so lower costs, if you use a tractor or a mechanical plow. Okay, so these are just some ideas. Now, if you want to check your slash and burn farming, you've got that. So you've just got quite a lot of notes there. So go through that in your own time. Make those notes, okay? And then we're going to move on to poultry farming, okay? And what you need to do is you're going to print a copy. Now, if you can't print it, it's fine right now, okay? But you need to print a copy of the worksheet. So we've got the poultry farming, which is this worksheet here. So read through it. So when we talk about poultry farming, we're talking about chickens. And so what do we get from chickens? They either we use them for food, or then we also use their eggs as well, okay? And it talks about here having to look after these chickens, okay? So there'll be ways to to give them vitamins, make sure that they're healthy, make sure they're at the right temperature. We'll go from there. Also, if they're not happy, bad things happen here. So they're very sensitive animals, okay? They might smother themselves. They might kill themselves if they're upset. So you want to keep them happy so that you can use them. And then once they get to a certain weight, they will then be able to slaughter the animal, okay? And this goes through in quite gruesome detail, okay? So be careful when you're reading through this. It goes through it. And what you're going to do is complete the exercises. Now, the question starts on this page, but where you'll be writing is on this page here, okay? So, the question says, the boxes on page 2 contain diagrams of the slaughtering process of chickens. Identify each diagram using the list provided. So the first one's done for you. So number 1, the chickens are dipped in boiling water. So you can just use that in the picture there. Then the necks are cut off. Find the picture that has that, okay? Go through them and put the numbers in. Then you are going to have to put them in order of the slaughtering process from the start on the left-hand side to the end on the right. Use the first page to help you find that, okay? So all that information is here, okay? Let's go from there. And, okay. And then when you have done that, then you've got this final question here. What special precautions must the farmer take to ensure the chickens remain healthy? Okay, to ensure the chickens remain healthy, the farmer must give them vitamins and antibiotics. Now you can change that to she if you wish, or they must also, and then answer that question. Notice how it has 4 marks, okay? So you want to be either making 2 points that you explain very well, or finding 4 points. I would go for finding 2 points, explaining those points well, okay? So giving the reasons why, okay? So, overall, go through, complete all the notes from the PowerPoint, then complete those 2 worksheets. If you have any questions, then just give me an email, okay? I hope you're all well, okay? And, oh yeah, that's to be due by Monday, May the 4th, okay? So, yeah, hope you're all well. Any problems, please give me an email.